We talked about the principles and how we approach things. This also came from big business. Some of these things make a great deal of sense, and the metrics can and improve your business. When you're making small improvements, whether it's improvement in cost, savings of a point or two in cost of goods for what it is that you're producing, that combined with an increased margin generated by customer service and customer care can have significant impact on the bottom line because it all compounds. And we'll talk a little bit about that. So today, this morning before the break, we're going to be focusing on marketing and sales, serving your external customers. Marketing is responsible for market research. And what is market research in your business? What is that? Who knows? What's that? Get to know your customer and what it is they need and want. They're also responsible for generating leads. So in this example, and we just had this conversation last week when we were together, we were talking to a smaller group of business owners, and if I wanted to sell swimming pools, I wouldn't market to an apartment complex. You've got to know where to market and what group you're looking to tap into. On the sales side of things, this is closing business for the first time. Now, this also could be reactivating some older customers, but when we look at this portion of the business, sales in the sales portion of things is marketing to people that you have not generated any business with in the last 12 months or that has never met your firm. Now, marketing to these people, the sales portion of things, it costs you 6 times more to secure a customer through marketing and sales than it does to make a sale through your existing customers, the people who already know you, trust you, and know the products and services you have to offer. So when we get into the budgeting portion of things, you need to do both. Again, remember, we're striving for balance. But we need to make sure that we're investing time also on the other workroom, which is customer service and customer care. Customer service is that portion of the business which allows you to deliver the transaction with no problems, meeting the customer's expectations of price, timing, and quality. So, for your marketing campaigns and the things you're doing now, what do you need? What do you need to know before you start a marketing campaign? Sir? What do you need? You made the mistake of sitting in the front row. Good. Knowing your target market. Good. Who else has something else that they need in advance of starting a marketing campaign? All right. Well, what do you need before you choose a marketing campaign? There are things you need to know. And we're going to talk a little bit about those because at this point, maybe you haven't considered this. All right. So the first, yes? Right, that would be, maybe that's your ideal client. Some of you may specialize in particular industries. So if your ideal client is a daycare center, that may be an opportunity. So you do what? It makes it a little bit more targeted. It certainly gives you a specific message, which is a real powerful tool. this, and we'll talk a little bit about niche markets and how to go about delivering a message. But let me kind of walk through. Go ahead. Good. Right. As Tim and I were working together before, we knew that that basic services go for a certain kind of business. Let's say $2 million in revenue or under 25 employees or whatever that is. But there's also another market out there, a silo that we'll be talking about here shortly, that may be new startups. Now, I'm not sure that the average dollar sale is quite as big, but the lifetime value of that client may grow, and you may be able to move them through the different products and services that you have to offer. Right. So absolutely, you need to know what it is that they need and want to buy. But let me walk through these. First off, time. If you don't have the time or are willing to invest the time to actually design, implement, follow up, and evaluate your results, don't do it. You're wasting money. And your time. Because it does take time. Depending on what you do and what you're going through. I mean, it's not uncommon. I mean, I've spent 12 hours last month marketing, learning something called social media. And I'm befuddled by the whole process. I'm 61 years old and I don't get it. But I'm learning. Painfully. But I'm learning. So you've got to be able to have the time to invest and go through this. And like anyone else, has anyone ever learned something new here recently? One or two. Good. Remember, the goal is learning something new every day. It always takes you longer to do something the first time you do it. So where I spent 12 hours learning social media last month, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get it down to about 11 hours and 45 minutes. But we'll see. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The next is that you have money to be able to do this. And there's a dollar amount that you have in your budget for marketing and advertising. And we'll talk about the difference shortly. But you need to know what you have to spend, because that's going to help you choose some of the different delivery methods and define some of the options for you. If you don't have a budget, don't start, because it can absolutely drain you. Going back to the funeral home, we went from business plan to 180 calls in about 5 years is what it was. I sold it in the 7th year, the business. But we spent $40,000 the first 3 years. That was our budget. I don't know whether that's good or bad. That's what we had. That was our budget. We got 4 leads, 1 sale, $999 cremation. I don't think we did a good job. So we need to make sure you know what your money is. Secondly, third, you need to be able to identify that you have the people. If you're going to market, God forbid, the marketing campaign is actually successful, do you have the people to do the production? To actually do the work that you're going out and getting customers for? Understand that you've got to have the capacity to be able to deliver those things, or you're going to be wasting time and money again and probably doing damage to your reputation. Again, you've got the capacity, that you've got the people to be able to deliver the services, you've got the people to be able to go out and sell, or if you want to sell, that you've got people to do the things you're going to do, because it is going to occupy time and money. And then, like we mentioned earlier, who it is that you want to focus on. Who's that target market that we're looking to achieve? So understanding this, how many of you have an advertising and marketing budget? 4 or 5. Great. So how do you determine how much to sell? How much to sell and to spend on marketing? For those of you that have one, how do you determine that?
We do our budget by what capacity we need to build on the production
So you determine your marketing and advertising budget based on the additional number of customers or clients that you're looking for.
We don't formally budget. It's a matter of spending what you need to get the clients in as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm. And so you know what a client means to you, as far as revenues go. And we'll be talking a little bit about metrics. But speaking with a bunch of accountants, I guess I probably would expect that. I'm telling you, most businesses, when I ask what it takes them to acquire a new client, or what the lifetime value of a client means to their business, usually I get that deer in the headlights. They don't get it. It doesn't take long to help them figure it out once we start getting some answers, but once they see it, if you're already focused on that, then these things should all be pretty simple. But we'll go through them anyway. Marketing is seeking potential and balance. Now, we focused on target markets earlier, and we're going to be talking a little bit here, but I had a trucking company, Tim and I both had a trucking company client. And when we started working together, 65% of his business was with one customer. They had had that customer for up to 30, well, this is their 31st year that they've been working with that customer, and it's obviously been the core piece of his business since then. Now, when I saw that, the goal was, okay, well, we need to diversify because eventually they're going to go away. Last week, we just got the call that they're done. They're going to stop doing business with this customer in August. Now, right now, they're about 18% of their business. So that's a hit. But they're going to be able to survive the hit. If it was 65% of the business, we would have locked the doors. We would have spent the next 90 to 120 days just closing things up. So, making sure that there's balance in your business, and that is part of your marketing, that maybe the things that the business that you have the most of, maybe you don't want more of that. Maybe we want to develop other segments of the business. So let's talk a little bit about image advertising and direct response. How many of you have churches or organizations that come to you and say, oh, would you put an ad in our newsletter, in our